All right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's workout, we've got a nice twist for you here. We're going to be doing a format that we don't do very often, but very important. It's an interval style workout. Every 4 minutes for 4 rounds. We're going to be doing a 300-meter run, 8 kettlebell snatches, and 8 overhead walking lunges. And our goal is going to be to finish to have some rest each round, which should be a treat. And we may be looking at this thinking, hey, running is not my strong suit, and that kettlebell kind of scares me. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it. Right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm-up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, love yourself. One of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live your best life is through the Committed Club Academy. And in the Academy, we dig deep. We go over the importance of motivation, nutrition, sleep and recovery, supplementation. Plus, we dig deep into our workout methodology, what we do in these workouts, why we do it, how it works so well. Let's move on to the wrist wave, and let's hear how you've benefited from the Academy. Let's hear first from Bird Dog. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and how has the Academy helped you to stay on track?
Hey, I'm Robin from Texas. I've been privileged to do the Academy a couple of times, and not only did I get to grow my family, getting to see people with or be around people with like goals, it helped me stay motivated and to my plan and be able to express that within the Academy, and also learn what's important, not just about the workouts I learned. It's much more than that. So I highly recommend it.
And thank you, Bird Dog. Spoken like a true veteran of the Academy, the most important lessons learned. Let's move on to some high knees, or we could do some high elbows if that works better for us. And while we're here, let's hear from Red. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and how's the Academy helped you to stay on track?
Hey, I'm Reb in Chicago. I've been able to attend the Academy lots of times, both live and on demand. And it's just great to learn about, we really dig into the why. We get to the root of why am I personally doing this? And that keeps me motivated. And then going into some of the science behind, why we do some of these things, why we're doing this type of workout, why we need to develop certain habits. And so it's just really good information to keep me going.
And that it does. So thank you so much for your great example and for putting these lessons into practice. And let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we can do some wrist extensions like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Betty Boop. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and how's the Academy helped you to stay on track?
Hi, I'm Maggie, South Florida, and the CCA has really helped me. I've been, 5 times or more. And every time I learn something, I focus more on something. This time around, I was more than ever before, I was focused on my why. So if you know your why, it helps you to stick to it. But you learn so many things, and I appreciate the on-demand feature, because you're not always able to make it live, but you're still there. So I love this aspect of it. So thanks, Coach.
Thank you for highlighting the importance of the on-demand option. We live an on-demand lifestyle, and yes, we're happy to cater to everyone's circumstances. Let's move on to some jumping jacks. Or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so the Academy is the best way to fully understand this program and to open up everything that's available to you to help you to reach your goals. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for details on how to enroll next semester. Let's go ahead and take a break from the warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first one we're going to do is bird dogs, demonstrated by the one and only. Let's go ahead and see 2 reps on each side. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those bird dogs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the bird dogs together. Now, it could be that doing this is a bit hard on those wrists and knees, in which case we may choose to do the dead bug. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate the dead bug here. That's going to be where we're laying on the back and we've got those arms up, legs up, and we are lowering opposite arm, opposite leg, while keeping the other arm and leg stationary. But if we're doing the bird dog as prescribed, we're on hands and knees, raising opposite arm, opposite leg, holding the top there for about 2 seconds before switching sides. So good job on these bird dogs or dead bugs, whichever version is better for you. Next, we're going to do the dynamic calf stretch. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps on each leg for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're actually going to throw them bows. We're going to do some dynamic elbows like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the dynamic calf stretch on each side. Now, similar to those bird dogs, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit hard on those wrists, in which case we may choose to do this off of an inclined surface, just like we see Betty Boop doing over here. It could be a counter, it could be a wall, it could be a sofa, but we're going to be in an incline pike position, bending the one knee, pulling that back heel into the ground. But if we're doing this off the ground as prescribed, we are piking those hips up, bending the one knee, pulling that back heel into the ground, holding that for about 2 seconds before switching sides. And so good job here on the dynamic calf, whichever version is better for us. Next, we're going to do some high knees with a hip circle, and let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps on each leg. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to do an arm raise with a lateral return like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 high knees on each side. Now, it could be that, hey, this is kind of hard on my balance, in which case, if we need to hold on to something close while we're doing this, that's an option as well. We can hold on to a counter or a sofa or whatever is needed. But if we're doing this high knee as prescribed, we are getting the knee up to about hip level and then twirling that around, bringing it back down to the other side. But once again, to reiterate, if we need to hold on to something for balance, that's perfectly fine as well. So good job on these high knees, whichever version works better for us. Next, we're gonna do some one-arm deadlifts, and let's watch as Reb demonstrates these deadlifts, starting on the ground in between the feet. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those one-arm deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 one-arm deadlifts, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind here. We want to start with a super light weight. So we're talking 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. If we happen to have a kettlebell, that's awesome. If we don't have a kettlebell, sure, it could be a light dumbbell, it could be a shoe, it could be a pillow, it could be a teddy bear. But we always start light before we go heavy. And on this deadlift, that object is starting on the ground in between the feet. We've got those hips super low, chest up, shoulders back. We are looking straight ahead, taking a deep breath in, bracing that core until we get all the way up to a fully standing, locked out position with the shoulders back at the top. And we are bracing that core on the way back down as well. And so good job here on these deadlifts. And finally, here in the activation phase, we're going to do some strict press. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the kettlebell strict press for us, starting from the chest to overhead. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that strict press is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the strict press together, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind here. On this strict press, that kettlebell is going to start on the chest, not necessarily on the shoulder. So we want to think upper chest, right below the shoulder, but then that elbow is pointing forward, and then we are pressing that arm up and back, getting that bicep into the ear, and then putting that elbow forward on the way back down as well. Hitting 5 reps on one side, and then switching, hitting 5 on the other side. And so good job on this strict press. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 3 moves that we're doing in today's workout. So the first move we're doing is the run. And if we happen to have a span of space that we can run maybe outside and come back in, then that's super awesome. What I'd like you to do right now is let's do a warm-up 45-second run. We're going to run 45 seconds in one direction, and then we're going to turn around. And that's actually going to be a pretty good way to scale the distance in today's workout. But most of us are going to be doing this right at home using the space we have. And so we've got 2 options for shuttle runs. First, we're going to have Bird Dog show us a 50-foot shuttle run, which is running 25 feet down and back. So once we get back to where we came from, that is 1 rep. So 25 feet down, 25 feet back, that is 1 shuttle run. But we could also do these shuttle runs in place. Let's have Reb demonstrate. We're going to do 20 high knees in place. And after we've done those 20 high knees, we can either change direction to help us keep track, or we can use the finger counting method as well. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then each shuttle run is going to be 20 alternating forward arm raises like this. And after each set of 20, we can either clap those hands or use the finger counting method. Let's all join in now And let's do 5 sets of shuttle runs. So that's either going to be 5 sets of the 20 high knees in place, or 5 sets of the 50-foot shuttle run, which is 25 feet down and back. And so very important that we know how to count these, especially if we are doing the 50-foot version. Then each down and back, each round trip equals 1 rep of the shuttle run. And we're doing 5 sets of this right now. Now, it could be that, hey, I'm trying to manage my impact, in which case, just like Betty Boop, we can do some shuffle steps, and every 20 steps is how we're keeping track of each shuttle run. And after we do 20 steps forward and back, then we can change directions. And that's a good way to keep track. So good job on these shuttle runs, no matter which version is good for you. The second move that we're doing in today's workout is the kettlebell snatch. So let's go ahead and have twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the kettlebell snatch for us on the same arm. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that kettlebell snatch is going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 reps of the kettlebell snatch, 5 on each arm. So a couple tips for success here. How are we holding this thing? We want to hold it either in the middle, which is pretty good, or even on the opposite inside corner. So we want to grab the left corner with the right hand or the right corner with the left hand. If that gets confusing, you know what? Just hold it in the middle and you can't go wrong with that. But something else that scares people is like, hey, that kettlebell's going to come flipping and I don't want it to hurt me. You know what? The kettlebell can smell your fear. We got to punch through that flip. And once we punch with confidence, that's when the flip timing ends up getting better and better. But we initiate that kettlebell snatch by throwing it back between the legs and then punching that up overhead. And once again, just to make this clear, with a kettlebell, when we say kettlebell snatch, is technically a hang snatch, meaning we don't have to tap the ground. We are not tapping the ground. We are throwing it back between the legs and then popping that up with the hips, punching that overhead from what's commonly called the hang position each and every rep. So good job on these kettlebell snatches. And the third and final move we're doing in today's workout is the kettlebell overhead lunge. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the lunge on the same arm, but alternating legs. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then what I'd like us to do is actually have a light weight in the other hand. We are going to lock out that kettlebell overhead and then do some lightweight dumbbell curls in the other arm. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 overhead lunges, 5 on each side. Now, ideally today, we are doing the walking version of the lunge, just like we see Bird Dog doing over here. So we've got that arm locked out overhead, and we are getting that knee all the way down to the ground, but stepping through on these lunges. Now, if we happen not to have the space to do the walking version of the lunge, then we can lunge in place, just like we see Betty Boop doing over here. And she's choosing to do this without weight right now, working on that lunge range of motion, getting the knee to the ground, using a little bit of support. But it could be that, you know what? I'm not at Betty Boop's level. I need to do some step-ups. Let's have Betty Boop demonstrate a couple step-ups here. So we're going to get a nice sturdy surface that we feel comfortable stepping up onto, such as a footstool or a plyo box or whatever we may have. But something that we feel comfortable with the height and with the sturdiness, of course. We're going to get both feet up, both feet down, alternating that step-up leg each and every time. So good job here on these lunges, whichever version is better for us. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight in today's workout, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 4 to 6 practice reps at a time, adding a little bit of weight each time until we get to the weight that we want to use for the workout. But if we have not been earning badges or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. It's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all our habits before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. Let's make sure we got our water nearby so we could take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. So important, I want you to play your music. You don't have to listen to my music. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is an interesting format today. We're going to be keeping track of our time across each of these 4-minute intervals. And so we definitely want to buy ourselves a good amount of rest, but we want to have our whiteboard or notepad, whatever, close by, so we can keep track of those scores. So if you're a teacher's pet and you are ready with that whiteboard, let's go ahead and show that on screen. And let's take this teacher's pet picture. Here we go, guys. Teacher's pet picture. In 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Love that whiteboard art as always. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this 4-round interval workout. Every 4 minutes for 4 rounds, we're going to do a 300-meter run, 8 kettlebell snatches, and 8 kettlebell overhead walking lunges. So we're looking for these runs to take us about 90 seconds, give or take. And so that 45-second test, if we were running on a running track or outside, is going to be a pretty good distance for us to scale to, because that's going to equal that 90 seconds with that turnaround over there. And so if we're close to the 300 and we want to push for it, so be it. Otherwise, let's definitely scale that run to a distance that we can get done in about 90 seconds, so we have time to hit the other elements. On these snatches and lunges, we are not adding weight unless we've been earning badges. And even if we are adding weight, let's definitely be smart about it. It could be that we can snatch more than we can hold overhead and do that walking lunge. If we need to use less weight or even no weight on that overhead lunge, let's do that. Do whatever we need to get the full range of motion, get the knees down to the ground if possible. If even without weight, we're not getting that knee to the ground, then we can modify and do some overhead step-ups as needed. But your score is going to be the time it takes you each round to get through the 300-meter run, which is 15 sets of shuttle runs, 8 kettlebell snatches, and 8 overhead walking lunges. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown. And then I'm going to highlight Bird Dog to get us going. So here we go, guys. Every 4 minutes for 4 rounds, 15 shuttle runs, 8 kettlebell snatches, and 8 kettlebell overhead walking lunges, or whatever option there is better for us. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these 15 sets of shuttle runs. So reminder, down and back is 1 rep. We're going to be doing 15 round trips here. And so we're only counting once we get back to the spot we came from. We're running 25 feet down, 25 feet back. Or it could be that we are doing the shuttle runs in place. We got Mighty Mouse up and out the seat, doing a lot more of this these days. Betty Boop doing the shuffle steps, making this a salsa class. But these are 15 sets of shuttle runs. And notice that we are not doing the tap today. The tap, when the shuttle run is prescribed, is usually when it's a shuttle run, of course. But since it's a 300-meter run that's prescribed today, then we're really just trying to replicate the time and effort without having to add that extra hinge. And so no taps today. We are running down and back, getting the 15 sets of these at the start of this round. But awesome work here, making our way through this. Coming up on that 90-second mark. So let's hustle these runs. See who's gonna make it across the finish line first. We got Reb on that kettlebell, twin 1 as well. Reb going straight into these snatches here, twin 1 as well going into these snatches. Betty Boop on these snatches. And Bird Dog on these snatches. We are throwing it back, popping that up, punching through the flip. And Mighty Mouse just finishing that run as well, about to hit these snatches. Twin 1 going straight into these lunges, not wasting any time. Bird Dog on these lunges as well, keeping that arm locked out. Reb with a nice arm lockout as well. Betty Boop on these lunges. And we've got Mighty Mouse on the snatches, and it looks like Twin 1 is across that finish line with about 90 seconds of rest. Betty Boop almost through the lunges. Bird Dog across that finish line with just over a minute of rest. Reb as well with just about a minute of rest. And let's cheer on Mighty Mouse. Almost done with the personalized options that she's been getting. That's the power semi-private training. Just a couple more, and there she goes. We got just about 50 seconds until this next round. But yes, I'd love to hear from you guys. Go ahead and unmute yourself. What do you think about that first round so far? If we have a quick high-low Buffalo.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'm just glad we get a rest. As long as we go fast enough, that is.
That's exactly it. That is that motivation. So let's get ready. We've got 20 more seconds until this next round. I'm going to be highlighting Reb to get us going here. So round 2 starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. 15 sets of shuttle runs. And this is where we're really gonna feel it. We did the first round, feeling pretty good. The second round is where it's really gonna kick in. But nice work so far here, guys. All the way down, all the way back. Or if we're doing the in-place shuttle runs, we're doing 15 sets of those 20 high knees or 20 shuffle steps. But nice deep breaths here. And so far, everyone finished that first round in the target window. And let's see if we can really push for consistency to finish each round within that target window. But nice work so far. We are breathing, we are pushing, getting through these shuttle runs. 15 sets of the down and back. Remembering, hey, we are counting down and back is a shuttle run. So 15 round trips is what we're looking for. But awesome work here so far. Coming up on that 90-second mark. Let's see who's going to come across that finish line and be the first on that kettlebell this round. Looks like Mighty Mouse is on that kettlebell. Twin 1. Jumping on that kettlebell. Betty Boop on that kettlebell. And when it rains, it pours. Bird Dog throwing it back, punching it through. Nice work here, guys. Let's get through this. Then after those snatches, going to be moving on to those lunges. Twin 1 on these lunges here. Bird Dog as well. Betty Boop on these lunges. Mighty Mouse on her personalized version of the lunges. Reb as well. Good, nice work. Bird Dog done with this round. Twin 1 done with this round. Betty Boop done with this round. Reb just one more lunge to go. And Reb done with this round. So nice 2 rounds done, and it looks like we all finished a bit faster this time. I want to hear from Mighty Mouse. You had a lot faster split time. What helped you to finish a little bit faster on this round compared to last one?
Not to think so much about how many steps I had to do. Just do them, and then it made me go faster instead of trying to think about all the numbers.
Yeah, love that mentality. Nothing to it but to do it. Let's hear a quick word from Bird Dog here. How you feeling 2 rounds in?
Oh yeah, I like the second round better. It was like I got a little warm up on the first one, so was ready to go. We'll see how round 3 goes.
That we will. So round 3 starting in 15 seconds. Let's get ready here, guys. I am now going to highlight Twin 1 to get us going. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, round 3, and we're off. Sprinting through these runs. And I love to see our training partners, our mascots, motivating us as well. But we are doing 15 sets of these down and backs, or 15 sets of these shuffle steps or high knees, whichever version is good for us here, guys. We are getting this heart rate up before swinging that bell, hitting these lunges. And everyone has been hitting that target window so far. We're trying to buy ourselves at least a minute of rest in each of these rounds. So great work here. Let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving. Getting through all of these. Nice work. Hustling through these shuttle runs. Let's see who's going to be the first back on that bell. Coming up on that 90-second mark. And there goes Mighty Mouse, first to the kettlebell once again. Throwing that back, punching that up. Twin one, right behind. Throwing that back, punching that through. Betty Boop now on these snatches as well. Bird Dog, Rev, everyone on that kettlebell. And let's breathe and brace. Let's punch it through. Mighty Mouse already on these lunges. Swing one, about to join on these lunges. Nice work, guys. Here we go, here we go. And Twin one done with this round. Bird Dog done with this round. Mighty Mouse done with this round. Rev just a couple steps away. Betty Boop done with this round. So we are 3 rounds in here, feeling pretty good. Let's hear from Twin one. How are you feeling 3 rounds into this?
Whew, I feel fired up, let me tell you. I feel all warm and fuzzy. All the feelings you're supposed to feel with the workout.
Not easy to do with all that snow outside, but hey, that just shows we bring the heat. I'll tell you what, we've got just one more round here to do something special. This next round is starting in 30 seconds. So this is where we're gonna really put the pedal to the metal. This is where we're gonna have full focus. We've been buying ourselves about a minute of rest here. Let's see what we can do to push that into the minute and a half range. See if we can finish with 90 seconds left. Or hey, can some of us ninjas finish this whole thing in just 2 minutes? Let's see what happens. So 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Starting the round 4, last round. We are on this. Hitting these runs. Going the fastest this round. Last round, fast round. That's what we want to see. We are breathing, we are pushing, we are putting the pedal to the metal. Down and back, 15 sets of down and back. Nice work here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Getting through it. All these runs, all these kettlebells coming up. Is anyone going to be able to finish this run in under 90 seconds this time? Let's see. And there goes Mighty Mouse, already done with these runs. At the minute 20 mark. Twin one almost there. Betty Boop almost there. Betty Boop walking over to that kettlebell. Bird Dog walking over to that kettlebell. Twin one walking over to that kettlebell. Let's get through these snatches here. Mighty Mouse already on the lunges in this last round. Well, let's throw it back. Let's punch it out. Let's get through this. Betty Boop. On these lunges, Mighty Mouse across the finish line. Twin 1 on these lunges. Bird Dog on these lunges. And Twin 1 across the finish line. Reb on this last set of lunges as well.
All right, go.
And there goes Reb across the finish line. Man, that was exciting as always. But now we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do today is the Samson stretch. And that's going to be where we take a nice big lunge step forward like this. And then we can twist toward that front knee, turning that back palm upward. Hey, if that's a bit hard for us to do, we can do this off the ground. We're going to get the one leg up, and then we're twisting toward that knee like this. And let's hear some high-low buffaloes. So first, we want to hear from Twin 1. And if we're doing this from the seated position, once again, we are just twisting toward the right, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Twin 1?
Whew. I think my high was that time crunch. It really pushed me to go faster, which I usually, not gonna lie, try to take my time on the shuttle runs. And this WOD made me really push hard. And then the low was the snatches. And then the buffalo was just getting it done, man. I was like, this is gonna suck. I already know it's gonna suck. But just once we started, we got into it, just like the rush of trying to be fast, it really, I didn't feel as much pain, like as in, you know, muscle burn, but hey, I felt the cardio. I got it done.
And that's exactly what we were going for today. Method along with the madness. So glad that you heard that lesson loud and clear. Hey, I need to hustle up, get these runs done faster. And we're going to take what we learned here and apply it in our other more standard format WODs. Let's go ahead and switch to the split. So we're going to shift those hips back, get the chest in toward this knee like this. And hey, if this is hard on that knee, then we can just outstretch the leg and then reach forward like this. And while we're over here, let's hear from Bird Dog. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're actually going to get those arms up and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Bird Dog?
Man, I'm with Twin 1. The high was, this one allowed me to push myself. That rest kind of tricked you, like you think you're starting fresh, but then it hits you a lot faster. I'm like, all right, but I don't want to lose out on my resting time, so get it in gear. So I like that little push. My low was probably the lunges. I need to take also Twin 1's trick of the knee braces. That, I think that would help me out a lot. Buffalo. I guess I was surprised that the rest definitely helped in between these. So I liked this setup, this type of workout.
Once again, good to switch things up. You know, we've done some battle style workouts where we have some rest in between the rounds, but earning your rest is a big motivator as well. And we learn to push, and we also learn how much that push affects us. So it's definitely a balancing act. Let's go ahead and hit Samson on the other side now. So we're taking a nice big lunge step forward over here, twisting toward that knee. Or, hey, if that's hard on the knee, then we can get this knee up and then twist the other way like this. And let's now hear from Reb. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we are twisting the other way. But what is your high-low buffalo, Reb?
Right, my high were definitely the snatches because I've never used that weight on kettlebell on the snatches, so that was a challenge for me, but I did it. The low is I might have counted wrong on the first round of shuttle runs, so I owe myself one more shuttle run. The buffalo is that I didn't switch weights on the snatches.
Appreciate that honesty and awareness, and super proud of your progress. They've been able to move heavier weights like that. And let's go ahead and move on to the split on this side. We're shifting those hips back, getting that chest into the knee like this. If this is hard on the knee, then cool. We can just outstretch that leg and then reach toward the toe like this. And while we're over here, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this one in a seated position, we are once again getting those arms up and pulling back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My highest doing the snatches. My low, I didn't have a low, but the buffalo was how I was able to do the runs, the steps. I don't know what I call it, but I was able to keep going, not getting so tired, but just staying focused on not the numbers, but just getting through so I can get some rest.
So much of this is mental, and what's more rewarding than working for your own rest, getting done faster so you can rest a little bit longer. So proud of that mental development, Mighty Mouse, of course, with all the progress you've been making in this program. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what's left, this sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys. Here we go. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. Now let's put the fists in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Big crew!
Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.